what's up guys, aarava here and welcome to a brand new video, the second of the day. We talked earlier about the brand new Mercedes and today we're quickly talking about the brand new Alpine for this season, driven by Fernando, Alonso and Esteban, Ocon, but obviously the team that used to be Renault is now changing entire brands and it's now going to be called the Alpine F1 team, and they show their brand new striking colours, and I gotta say, fair play, fair play. I'm still not really all for like the whole rebrand thing. I'd much prefer Renault as a brand to be an F1 rather than Alpine. But to be fair to them, the livery and the colours, very, very sick. The livery looks mean. Metallic blue, a bit more black than all people were considering, because I think a lot of people were thinking that it was going to be all blue, because they did release a testing livery and we saw the kind of Alpine logo on the side of the engine cover. And there was a lot of black on the base, so everyone thought maybe they'd just spread that entire black in blue, essentially. But they've actually gone with a bit of a merger. They've also got some red bleeding onto the front, kind of side part of the chassis. And overall, I think really, really nice. Definitely better than the Mercedes one we saw earlier this morning. Obviously, I'm still processing that one if I like it or not. But the Alpine one, yeah, got to be in the top. Yeah, I would say 3 comfortably, maybe right up there for top 2 spots, really. I mean, obviously, the Alfa Romeo was still really, really nice. I'm trying to think back at the deliveries we've even seen so far. Yeah, the Alfa Romeo was really, really paying. The Alpine, though, yeah, really, I mean, what is it, about Al something, and those teams are doing really well, because the AlphaTauri team also is pretty damn decent. But, yeah, Alpine, it's an exciting season ahead of them. Of course, Fernando Alonso returning to F1, that's the big question mark. Obviously, he had, unfortunately, a nasty accident, actually, in preseason testing, where he was hit by a car on a bike ride. Thankfully, he was okay. He got through, was to hospital, came out, got discharged, and luckily, I mean, very luckily, because they're emphasizing that luck, that it's a bit of a miracle that he's all calm and fine to actually go to preseason testing, having had that accident, which at the time was a little bit quite worrying, really. So, that's one thing. Great to see that. That's all fine. And then in terms of him returning to F1, big question marks, because you've got some people not sure if he's going to perform at the same high level, because, he is getting on. He is a lot older, and sometimes that age will just kick in of, can you just jump straight back in at that age and be at best? I've always maintained that I feel like Alonso will do the thing he does a lot of the time and surprise a lot of people, surprise his doubters maybe, and I think he'll be right on the pace there. I think Ocon, for me, I think he's going to have a tough time going up against Alonso, but maybe not if, Ocon, if he steps up this year, this is a time to do it, basically, to show what he's got going up against Fernando Alonso, really, because I think Ricciardo definitely, just showed him up, basically. There were glimpses of the older Ocon we maybe saw, but I feel like in terms of his career, he definitely did lose out a bit of not being in the sport for a while. Maybe, someone like Alonso alongside him is the thing he needs to kick him up the arse and get that extra gear of performance and, find some more in the tank maybe. But at the same time, we know how good Alonso has been at just thrashing his teammates, doing so well, obviously, with Van Dorn, who wasn't a slouch. Alonso just completely wiped the floor with him in terms of qualifying and then the race as well. So that's going to be a big tester for Ocon, because I think there's also just so many other drivers maybe in the vicinity maybe that could be looking at trying to get an Alpine drive for the future years. It comes to mind, I feel like Gasly. I mean, for me, I would love to see Gasly get out of the Red Bull family, but realistically, the only place I would see him go is the French outfit. But he's never going to go alongside Ocon, because those two hate each other. So, and I don't think Alonso is going to be, I think Alonso at least will be here for next season to obviously see how those regulation changes. So, it's a case of maybe, is it a replacement? So Ocon, I feel like needs to step up just to make sure that he's, a bit more comfy and stays comfy in the team longer term, following this campaign, basically. But as a pairing, it's still a really good duo, actually, Alonso and Ocon. Obviously, Ocon and Ricciardo did very, very well. Ricciardo's the big points hauler. I think Alonso will be the same there. So it's a similar sort of, strength, if not even a little bit more. You might argue, if you do believe Alonso will be right there on the pace, because he was always a very good racecraft driver, obviously, compared to maybe like the likes of even Ricciardo. I think he was right up there in the top 3 realms in terms of racecraft. But it's just that big question of, can you take that much time out of the sport at that sort of age, come back and still boss it? Like I said, I think there's scope that he'll just surprise most people that doubt that, and he'll do what Alonso does most of the time and actually turn up and just be like, yeah, what do you expect? And then the team itself, Renault, I didn't think they were going to do well last season, and they turned up with a very decent base of a car and started to upgrade it, and it was actually a very decent car at certain circuits. There were other ones where they fell away. I think the same will be said about this season, but I've said it in predictions predictions for this season. I just feel like Alpine will maybe shift their focus to 2022, and so maybe this year they won't be as competitive as they maybe were versus McLaren and Aston Martin this season. But that's just my little hunch. I've been wrong before, obviously, but they say, I said this with the Alfa Romeo one, they say, pretty cars or good-looking cars go quickly. This one is a very good-looking car, although to be fair, at the reveal launch, the lag was insane. I made a joke, hopefully the speed of the Alpine car is not at the lag speed of their reveal. It was basically a slideshow of moving pictures, but we got there in the end and saw this rather beautiful car. Unfortunately, in terms of actually talking about the actual car itself, there's really actually nothing to look at from this Alpine launch. Renault have done this in the past. They've been notorious of doing it. When they launch their car, they literally just show pictures that are just so misleading. Not their car, basically last year's car with some adaptations to make it look like the 2021 Challenger, like we saw last season and the previous ones with Renault. So with Alpine, the same outfit, obviously just rebranded. I think, again, we're basically going to have to wait till pre-season to see anything new and see what maybe they've changed in terms of where they've spent their tokens and where they've made changes under the regulations, what they're allowed to, and then obviously the usual aero bit at pre-season. So not really much to actually take away from that. So that's really just it. Reaction to the car, though, really, really does look lovely. I'm sure, especially under night sky, that chrome blue is going to look lovely. And even with it seems like the red is also very chrome as well. So the red and blue and the white looking great. The black ties it together, like I said, I think a lot of people are expecting a lot more blue for it. So I'm all for it. Really lovely looking car. Let me know what you guys make of it in the comments below. And where do you reckon Alpine will be? Because, like I said, I'm a little bit, in two minds of where I reckon they'll be. And obviously, there's going to be a lot of Fernando Alonso fans that want to see that that team do well and for him to do well. So maybe you'll predict them higher. But those of you that are not Alonso fans or Ocon fans, just generally speaking, neutrals maybe to the situation, where do you reckon Alpine will be? As I said, I think they're going to be moving resources for 2022 personally. And I don't know. I just don't think it'll be very hard for them to keep up as good as they were maybe last season if you've got a McLaren that's much improved, and then also you've got Aston Martin, was Racing Point, being kind of rebranded themselves, but I think that's a bigger project of rebranding and maybe scaling up, and obviously they're going to want to impress with signing Sebastian Vettel as well. So I don't know. I don't think they'll have as good of a shot to really take the fight to those two teams as they were last season. But that's just my 2 cents. Let me know in the comments below. If you did enjoy the video, then hit the like button. If you're new around here, do get subscribed for weekly Formula One content. And tomorrow is an exciting time because that is the Aston Martin reveal. I think probably one of the most anticipated cars on this entire grid. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But till then, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.